Welcome to the Lead Pedal Podcast with your host, Bruce Outridge, where he talks all things trucking. Now let's get rolling.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to an edition of the Lead Pedal Podcast. I'm your host, Bruce Outridge, and today we're going to be talking about finding good carriers, why that's important to you for sure, because, you know, do not want to ruin your career by doing this. We've got some real, once your career is damaged, your record's damaged, it is very hard to get a job and keep your career going in the trucking industry. Once you get anything bad on that license, all the carriers seem to know about it. So we're going to talk about that in this series today. We're going to kick off with what it's like to find a good carrier. But before we do that, let me tell you a little bit about Bison Transport. They're one of those good carriers, and they are looking for owner-operators. If that is you, if you're somebody that wants to get good deals on things like maintenance and tires, if you want to save money on fuel, if you want a company that's behind you, then Bison Transport's where you should go. You can go to bisondriving.com to find out all about the advantages that they've got for you right today. All right, let's get into our segment on the Lead Pedal Podcast.
Be sure to share the podcast on your favorite social media channels.
All right, so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about a little bit about what it takes to be a good carrier, why you are even interested in having, working for a good carrier. Are all carriers the same? No, they are not. And this is the first of three parts that we're going to talk about it. So what does it mean to work for a good carrier? It means somebody's going to respect the hours of service rules. They're there for a reason. They're not there to break. They don't pressure their drivers to bend the rules, and they have a clear policy so you don't have to figure out what is good, what is bad, what you should be worrying about. And they invest in their equipment and maintenance. They have safety protocols in place, and they want you to come home safely. This is probably one of the biggest things that we see. If a company tells you, hey, man, don't worry about it, everybody runs that way, this is a serious issue in the industry. Now, what you have to look for and what people will tell you is there's a big difference between 1980 when I started running and 2026 when you're starting to run. In the old days, carriers wanted drivers that can get things done, that they can move around and get you going. Today's world is totally different than that. Carriers want someone who is safe. Carriers want somebody that is experienced and knows how to handle situations, that's not going to try and become a cowboy. They want someone who's going to take some pride in their equipment. They're going to help save some money, and hopefully the good carrier is going to pass that money back onto you. And many different carriers have different policies on how they do that. And how to be successful in that. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about where you should be finding those carriers, how you can do that. But first, let me tell you about a great new truck stop that's coming up, and I know you want to know about this. If you've ever been in Ontario, Woodstock, Ontario, and you've seen the old truck stop that's at exit 230, it is being revised, my friend. Harnois Énergies. That's right. They are taking that truck stop. They're remodeling it. It's now going to be an SO fuel card stop, and this thing is going to be awesome. It's got everything from diesel and propane fueling. It's going to have quick service dining. It's going to have showers, large parking area for trucks, RV refill stations, convenience stores, and you know what? You're going to have a specialized maintenance area for you. So if you don't already have an SO truck stop fuel card, you want to go to harnoisenergies.com, or you can call 1-800-363-2712. They've been around since 1958. They are located mostly in Quebec. They're expanding to Ontario, and they are revising that old truck stop that you remember at exit 230 on the 401. So check them out. Coming up soon in Woodstock, Ontario, the new fuel card stop for Harnois Énergies. All right, let's get into continue with what to look for in a good carrier.
By far my favorite station.
You're the best. Oh, yeah.
I love you guys.
All right, let's get into what a good carriers do. Good fleets are going to help you be successful. They want you to be successful. They're going to have benefits such as safety programs that are going to help you not only bring in a little more money, but help you keep your record in track, which is very cool. They're going to have a strong safety culture. This starts at the top, folks. It is not something that starts at the bottom. And I want to play for you a video we have from a friend. This is Maverick Bath. He's with Bison Transport. And in this one, he's talking about culture and why it's important for drivers to communicate and stop as they need to.
You guys have this thing, no questions asked. Well, but you need to know. You need to let the customer know. You might need to get another driver or tow truck or whatever the situation is.
Question, no questions asked, as long as there's communication.
Yeah.
So same thing, accountability, transparency, holding ourselves accountable, and being open. If it's good for me, it has to come from the driver as well.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're not let's say if you're not in the right state of mind, forget about the weather. You had an argument at home, whatever. You're not feeling right to drive. As long as you communicate, as long as you let us know, give us some notice, we're okay. Why? Because we will be able to rescue that load, reschedule an appointment, and get it done. And that gives you some time to take a break, whether it's weather, health, whatever that is. I mean, if there's health involved, we make other arrangements.
Right?
Yeah, so there you go. That's the type of culture you want to work for at Bison or any other good carrier that is out there, because they want you to be safe. They don't want you to push the limits. They don't want you to try and get on down the road when you're not feeling well, or if things aren't working out, whether it be weather or whatever. They want you to know that you can stop. You're not going to lose your job. You're not going to do anything like that. So that is the kind of culture you're looking for. That's the kind of thing you're looking for in a good carrier. So where do you find these good carriers? This is the next thing, right? It's easy to say, let's find a good carrier, but where do you find them? Especially if you're somebody new, you're coming out of school, you've never been in the industry before, or in some cases you actually have your license already, but you've been working somewhere else, and now you're trying to transition. I go to a lot of different job fairs. I go to different places where I see people just wandering around. They haven't done their homework. They don't know who's in the room. And I can tell you what, folks, anybody can make a banner. Anybody can make a website. Anybody can make an Instagram account nowadays, and that will fool you. And with AI, it's getting even worse. So you really need to do your homework and get in with the right company, because the right company is going to help you be successful. And if you can get one that's right early in your career, they're going to show you the rope in the right way, so that when you do transfer down the road, or maybe hopefully you stay with them for your whole career, you know that you're working for somebody that actually cares about you. So where would you find these good carriers? Well, there's a number of ways we can do it, but it really comes down to three or four old school ways of doing it. First of all, the biggest thing is being referred by somebody else. Whether it be somebody else that's in the industry, somebody that works at that company. It doesn't have to be a driver, although drivers are the way we used to do it. I mean, we used to go up and down the road, and we would say, okay, so, hey, what's that? We knew everybody, because we talked on the CB. We knew everybody. We knew people, the carriers that are in our lanes that are doing the same things we're doing. Often you'll see them picking up at the same locations you are, or delivering, and you're going, so what's that carrier like to work for? And drivers will usually give you a pretty good answer, whether it be right, wrong, or indifferent. It'll be their opinion of it. Should you take all of those answers? You certainly should. But you know what? You've got to remember that everybody's going to have a different take. What's a good carrier for one person may not be a good carrier for somebody else. So you really have to think about that, and think about what they're telling you. Is that applicable to your situation? Someone may find that a good carrier is not necessarily good for them, because they ask you to be out longer than they want to be out. If they want to be home every other day and a carrier says we need you to be out for a week, that person may not be as happy with that carrier. But for somebody who doesn't mind being out a week, that may be a perfect carrier for them. So I've got a friend, Joanne Couture, who's been around for a long time. She's an owner-operator, and she always used to say, the right carrier is the right carrier for you. You can't go by what somebody else is. So you really have to do your homework. First of all, look for things like, are there trucks in good condition? are the drivers making a decent wage? Are they paid at least the wage of the industry at the time? Because that changes. Most carriers will sit within that 5 cents range, 5 to 10 cent range, depending on what they do from other carriers. So if someone's way at the bottom or way at the top, it means they're doing something different or extra, and you need to take that into account. But most carriers will stay in that rough range. Right now, I think it's around that 50 cent a mile if you're still paying by the mile. A lot are changing to hours. If you're looking at that, that's kind of where you should start. So are the drivers working with good equipment? Are they being paid properly? Are they do they look professional? Do they look tired? Do they look like they never been to sleep? Are they being asked to go, if they're bragging that, they can get to Florida in like a day, it might be the driver bragging, or is it the company pushing them to be there in a day? So ask them what they're like with their regulations. So where do you find them? Other drivers is a great place to do that. The second place I like to do is associations. You know what? There's a number of great trucking associations, no matter where you are in the world. In each country has them. Usually each province or state has them. Maybe it's it could be your county. It could be anything. It could be your industry. If you're in a specific industry within the industry, look for associations. If you don't see companies listed in those associations, or usually, like for instance, there's one called the TTSAO, Truck Training School Association of Ontario. Now I've worked with them for years. They are all the school, they're the association for the truck driving schools. But they also have a carriers page there where if you go and you see carriers, you know that those carriers are supporting new drivers. That's a great place to start if you're somebody new that's trying to get into the industry. All right. So look at other associations. If you're somebody that's in a training school, before you go outside that training school, ask the training school, who do you work with? They are going to be working with carriers that are maybe local to them, maybe that fit with their kind of training, but they're going to have vetted those because they don't want a student going from their training into a bad carrier. And I've heard and seen this in the past where they stop working with certain carriers because they're not treating the students well. So start with that school. Where do they go? Where should you go? And of course, do your homework. This is probably the big thing. People do not do their homework. Start online. If you are going to a job fair or something like that, you should be researching those carriers long before you get to the job fair. You should know who's in the room. They usually have a list on whatever job fair site it is or career site it is. And a lot of things I see now are the carriers are having their own little job fairs on their own locations. These are great. Go to those ones. See what the trucks are like. See what the environment's like. Talk to the people. This is a great way to decide if this is one that you should join. And ask about things like their training program. Ask about their safety program. Ask about their maintenance programs. Ask about home time. Ask all of these questions to find out what is best for you, because you really need to do your work on these carriers. And we're going to be talking more about that in the next episode. So make sure you stay with us for part 2 of this series on finding the right carrier. Hey, if you are a carrier and you want to make sure you're doing things right, the best way you can do that is to start with an audit on your system, and Compliance Mentors can help you with that. That's right. They go around and they audit, they cross the country, they help carriers improve their safety, improve their compliance, and hopefully improve their culture at the same time. So check out Compliance Mentors with a Z. That's Compliance Mentors, mentorz.com to find out all about them. All right, my friends, thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe and join us for part 2. We'll be talking about chameleon carriers, some of the red flags you should watch out for, and what drivers need to talk about in the interview to make sure they are doing things and getting on with the right carrier. All right, subscribe to the podcast, and we will see you later, my friends.
This has been another episode of the Lead Pedal Podcast. For more information or to subscribe to the podcast, visit theleadpedalpodcast.com, and be sure to follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter.